All right, everybody, I'm just going to get right into the video because everything's like hot and ready. Okay. All right, everybody, what's up? What's up? So I'm gonna show you every step here. Every step here. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our like ingredients and stuff together, right? So I just did 10 cranks of this sea salt into this bowl. And then I've got this Kickin' Chicken seasoning by Weber. We're going to put a bunch of it in here. Also with that salt. Pretty good amount. I guess like, I don't know, like a few teaspoons. And then we got some Parmesan cheese. Parmesan cheese, okay? Okay? Now we've got all three of these things in this bowl. We're just going to give that a little stir here. Right? Then I've got some pepper. I didn't do a little pepper last time, but we're going to put just a little pinch of pepper in there this time. We're going to mix that up. So it's going to look just like that. You're going to see your Parmesan cheese. You're going to see the Kickin' Chicken seasoning and the salt and pepper. Okay? Then right here, we've got our egg wash, right? And then we have our chicken. Our chicken, it's already cut up. And the key part of this, the most important part, is you got to let it sit in pickle juice. That's the secret, okay? So once you've had this, you're gonna say that every other chicken tastes like trash. So once make sure to type Chef CHB2, right? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our little egg wash here, right? And our seasoning over here, right? And then we got this butter, right? We got this stick of butter. I actually don't think this is enough. I want to use a little more butter. So I'm going to take this fresh stick of butter here, and I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. So you can see the marking right there on the butter. And this is unsalted butter. Now, if it was salted butter, I wouldn't put any salt in the seasoning mix. You know what I mean? But since this is unsalted, I put some seasoning in the mix. All right, so it's about that much butter you want. There's my thumb. Okay. Now the stove is already hot. It's already on medium, okay? Medium, all right? Because you don't want the butter to just burn, all right? You want the butter to melt, not burn, all right? So in goes that butter. In goes the butter. Kind of want to make sure that you guys can see everything I'm working on here. So remember, we got our chicken, our egg, which is like 1 scrambled egg. Then we got our seasoning mix here. Okay, you can see the butter's like trying to burn because, you know, this is like so hot. So I take it off and kind of let it just melt the rest of the way. You see that? So it's just melting in there, right? If I leave it on the stove right now, that butter's just going to burn. So right now I've got a bunch of delicious melted butter. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chicken here and I'm going to dunk it in this egg wash, right? Piece by piece, right? Make sure that you can see all this. We're going to dunk it in the egg wash and then we're going to dunk it in the seasoning here. Okay? Sorry that you can't necessarily see this that well, but you know, we're making do. So right now I'm just mixing the chicken in with the egg wash and then putting it in the seasoning. Okay? And I'm keeping the butter off the stove so that it just stays in that nice melted phase. You know what I mean? It's not like burning or whatever. So like right now I'm just mixing in all this chicken with the egg here. And then I'm going to put the chicken all in this seasoning here. Right? So now I went from the first egg bowl to now this seasoning bowl. So now we're going to mix up this chicken and the egg that's all washed all over the chicken in with this seasoning. Right? Now your hands are going to get real messy. But you know what? You just make sure that your hands are clean and you'll have a great time. This will taste incredible. So like I said, you know, if you really want good tasting food, you know, it's going to take some extra time, right? If you just put on some chicken on the stove, it's, you know, you're not going to be happy with it. You're not going to want to do that again. That's why you're probably going to keep eating out all the time, you know. But once you learn how to make really good food, you know, you're going to want to do this for yourself all the time. So in the next episode, we're going to show you how I make my tuna salad. But for right now, so we're going to put the butter back on the heat and dunk this mother in there. Bam! Bam! Okay? Grab your little spatula. And we're just going to let that do its thing for a few minutes here. I'm going to wash my hand off real quick. Make sure to click like. Make sure to click like. There's nobody else that's as authentic as me, showing genuine life stuff all the time. Not just gaming, not just riding the bikes, not just beach content, not just cooking, not just fitness. I mean, yeah, sure, I haven't been streaming a lot lately, but you know, I've been working a lot. I've been becoming a better person. You know, I'm exercising all the time, every single day now, eating really healthy, you know. Sometimes you gotta, you know, look out for yourself every now and then. So let me give you a little close-up as to what's going on over here. Close-up action, check it out. We got our chicken. Man, it looks so good in there. So good. So good. All right. Make sure to click subscribe and like. We're going crazy. I've got the best content. You know, right now I'm cooking this chicken here. So I'm going to just run through it one more time if you just got here. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to set up the whole kitchen for yourself to work around. You're going to want to get your stove medium hot. You're going to need some butter. You're going to need some salt and pepper. You're going to need some Parmesan cheese. You're going to need some chicken seasoning. All right. Then you're going to need some pickle juice. Pickle juice. This is the main ingredient. The main ingredient. if you do not let your chicken marinate in pickle juice, you're literally eating not good chicken. Like your chickens, I just can't explain to you how good chicken is when you marinate it in pickle juice. Okay? It's just like, it changed my life. Okay? All right, everybody. So we're just gonna let that, and another thing is, like, instead of cooking it on high, right? If you cook it on medium, it just like is so much more like flavor, say, when you cook it on high, it seems like a lot of the flavor just gets like taken right out of it. When you cook it slower, it's like it tastes better. So, yeah, sure, I'm hungry right now, but it's gonna taste better if I cook it slow. Make sure to stay hydrated, drink a lot of water. If you've got headaches, the most common cause of headaches is because you're dehydrated. Alright, so while that's cooking, we can actually start playing cleanup a little bit. So, for those of you that are interested in learning how to cook, you just keep asking me questions. I'm pretty good. Everybody loves my cooking. See, a lot of the stuff that I'm good at, I just don't show enough people, Everybody, like, when they find out that I'm like really good at stuff, they're like, do you have a social media for that? I'm like, yeah, I've got a social media, but it's not for that. Hopefully before I die, everybody will understand what I've been trying to do this whole time. Look forward to tomorrow. Tomorrow's episode is going to be tuna salad. Tuna salad. Today was the beautiful chicken. So beautiful. Smells so good. Smells better than a fucking restaurant. Smells better than a restaurant. But yeah, everybody, that's about it. Make sure to click like, I hope you had a good time. I'm going to see you later when I play some video games, I guess.